Good morning, everyone. My name is Abhay Singh, and I welcome you all in today's video analysis of The Hindu. Today is 7th of September 2024, and we'll start with the first news headline for the day. Today we have a lot of small news items which are very important for us in editorial section of today's newspaper. The first editorial, which is related to physical deficit, is not that important because again that particular article is academically very rich, but for the examination point of view, we'll cover only important things. So let's start with the first news headline for the day. So recently we have discussed one article where we have seen that we have talked about the new multi-drug resistant TB drug which is known as BAPA, BPA LM regimen. So recently the health ministry have approved the new treatment regimen for multi-drug resistant TB. Now before going into this particular article, we have to understand the meaning of multi-resistant TB. Now what do we understand by this multi-resistant TB? So multi-resistant or multi-drug resistant TB, the simple definition of this particular term. So this was some technical fault. So let's understand the meaning of multi uh, drug resistant TB. So to give a better understanding of this specific term, multi drug resistant TB. So what do we understand by multi-drug resistant TB? So basically this is a kind of TB tuberculosis which is caused by multi-drug resistant TB is germs caused by germs that are resistant to two or more of the main TB medicines. So basically, multi-drug resistant TB is caused by germs that are resistant to two or more of the main TB medicines. Now, what are these two main medicines of the TB that are used to cure this tuberculosis? So the first medicine is isoniazid. ISONIAZID, isoniazid and rifampin. सो बेसिकली मल्टी ड्रग रेजिस्टेंट टीबी मींस जो टीबी को क्योर करने के जो प्राइमरी दो ड्रग होते हैं आइसोनियाजिड एंड रिफाम्पिन इन दो ड्रग्स जो बेसिकली हम यूज करते हैं टीबी को क्योर करने के लिए जब उनके अगेंस्ट किसी तरीके का रेजिस्टेंट कुछ जम्स डेवलप कर लेते हैं तो ये जो मेडिसिन होती है काम नहीं आती हैं टीबी को क्योर करने में सो बेसिकली जो इसी तरीके की टीबी होती है कि जो आइसोनाइजाइड और रिफाम्पिन के इफेक्ट को एकदम नेगेट कर दे उसे हम बोलते हैं मल्टी drug resistant TB. So as of now, India has approved a new treatment regimen, for curing this multi-drug resistant TB. Now we have to understand that what do we understand by this particular term regimen. Now we have understood the meaning of multi-drug resistant TB. Now we have to understand the meaning of regimen as well. Now regimen is basically a prescribed course of medical treatment. So basically, what do we understand by regimen? So basically, a prescribed course of a medical treatment. So basically, the Home Ministry have approved this new treatment regimen for multi-drug resistant TB. Now we have understood the background. What is multi-drug resistant TB? What do we understand by a regimen? Now let's move into this particular article. The Ministry of Home Affairs have given the approval to this treatment regimen, and the name of the treatment regimen is BPALM. Now, what do we understand by BPALM? So, bedaquiline, then we have pretomanid, then we have linezolid, then we have moxifloxacin. Now these are the four. These so basically this BPA-LM resistor regimen is basically is the combination of four drugs, and the four drugs are bedaquiline, pretomanid, linezolid, and moxifloxacin. So these are the this particular regimen is a combination of four drugs. Please remember the name of all the four drugs. This is a combination of four drugs. आपको चारों drugs के नाम याद रखने, which is very important. Now the simple way to learn all these names is is BPL. Now BPL, originally BPL means below poverty line, but when we talk about multi-drug resistant TB, BPL stands for bedaquiline, pretomanid, and linezolid. So basically BPLM. So BPALM is a regimen for treating this multi-drug resistant TB. Now, few other important facts about this tuberculosis is that India has decided that it will eliminate tuberculosis from India by 2025. So the target for India was 2025, whereas the target for the world is 2030. Now, the best thing about this BPAL regimen is that while other traditional treatment method can last up to 20 to 18 to 20 months, whereas this BPAL regimen will last only for 6 months. And also this particular regimen, BPALM regimen, has a higher success rate. So these are the advantages of this particular regimen, and that for the similar reasons, Health Ministry have given approval to this new treatment regimen. We have discussed each and everything which is important for us to understand, that what is multi-drug resistant TB, what do we understand by regimen, what is the composition of this new treatment regimen. Then we have seen the target that India has set. Then we have seen the important features of this BPL regimen, and then lastly we have seen what is the target for the world to eliminate TB. So target for the world to eliminate TB is 2030, whereas the target that had now that we have set up for our own self is 2025. So these are the important facts related to news item on page number 1. Now I'll move to the next important news headline for the day. Again, today, not a lot of information is not important for us because the reason is very simple. There is a lot of political news that have been covered today, so we'll skip those news items which are political in nature. So we'll skip all those things. See, understand just one thing. Recently, Election Commission of India has announced elections in Jammu, Kashmir, and Haryana. So after the announcement of the elections, the lot of space in the newspaper is given to the elections only. I have saying this. I have been saying these things, saying this thing for a very long period. So now we understand that we don't have to cover the political news items. We just have to cover things which are academically important and also which are important and relevant for our examination. So again, try to skip those things which are not important for your examination and also which are political in nature. So now recently we have seen that the Chief Minister of Telangana, Mr. Revant Reddy, was demanding that the flood situation, the flood which are which have caused a lot of damage in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So he was demanding that this should be declared as a natural disaster or a natural calamity. So in the same series of articles, now this is the next development. So the next development is that an inter-ministerial central team (ICMT) will soon visit the flood-affected areas of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana just to assess the damage, that how much damage have been caused. So इस डैमेज को असेस करने के लिए ये आईसीएमटी इंटर मिनिस्ट्रियल सेंट्रल टीम जो है वो विजिट करेगी आंध्र प्रदेश और तेलंगाना में. Now moving on to the next important article. Again, I was saying that we have to understand that what are the things that are important for us and what are the things that are not important for us. So now we are dealing with the first article for the day, and the first article is basically it is mainly focused on Jammu and Kashmir, how these elections will change the future of people living in Jammu and Kashmir, and how this particular elections will throw some new opportunities for the people residing in the area of Jammu and Kashmir. So after the abrogation of Article 370, after the abrogation of Article 370 on 5th of August 2019, a lot of steps have been taken by the central government to make situation good in Jammu and Kashmir. So after 5 years of the abrogation of Article 370, after 5 years of abrogation of Article 370, the Election Commission of India had decided to conduct elections in Jammu and Kashmir in three phases. The election will start from 18th of September and will come to an end on 1st of October 2024. Now, after the abrogation of Article 370, this is going to be the first elections in Jammu and Kashmir. So there is a lot of expectations from the people of Jammu and Kashmir that how things are going to pan out for them. A lot of people and a lot of political parties are participating in these elections, which again and again basically kind of reassure everyone that we are living in a democratic country. Now, the deadline which were decided by the Honorable Supreme Court of India was that it is the responsibility of Election Commission of India to conduct the elections before 30th September 2024. So this was the deadline given by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and Election Commission of India have decided that it will conduct elections between 18th September to 1st of October 2024 in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, a lot of hue and cry was made by parties in opposition as well, that why government is not conducting elections with immediate effect in Jammu and Kashmir. So the main defense of the ruling party was that it is not the right time to conduct the elections in Jammu and Kashmir. But once this deadline was declared by the Supreme Court, it became imperative for the Election Commission of India to conduct these elections. Now, this is basically related to that particular thing only, that how things, how, area wise, which particular party will dominate in which area. So those things are not important for us. So we won't be covering those things which are not important for us. Now, this is all the so we are going to cover the second article first, the second editorial first. The only reason is that both the articles are related to Jammu and Kashmir. Now, a tourism policy ill-suited for Jammu and Kashmir. So, after the abrogation of Article 370, as we have discussed a lot many times on 5th of August 2019, a new tourism policy was introduced in Jammu and Kashmir in 2020. So but after the introduction of this new policy in 2020, the situation is not so good in Jammu and Kashmir, because we have to understand that every area is created or designed in such a way that it can take the load of only certain number of people. So once this influx of tourists was in Jammu and Kashmir, it has caused a lot of stress to the people, people residing in the delicate ecological system. So basically, this particular article is mainly focusing on few important aspects, that how the increase in the number of tourists will cause problems in Jammu and Kashmir, how ecological equilibrium will get disbalanced. So these are the things that we are going to discuss in this particular article. So we'll start with the first paragraph itself. In the collective consciousness, Kashmir remains an Eden, but time has changed. But in the collective consciousness, Kashmir remains an Eden, but time has changed its environment. The influx of tourists is causing a great stress to the valley's delicate ecological equilibrium. So this is the first problem. This is the first problem of the increase in the number of tourists. It is causing a direct stress. It is giving a direct stress to the valley's ecological equilibrium. Now, according to official data, over 4 crore tourists have visited Kashmir since the announcement of a new tourism policy in 2020. In the first of 2024, So in the first half of 2024, meaning between January 2024 to June 2024, over 12 lakh tourists have visited Jammu and Kashmir. And after the introduction of this new tourism policy in 2020, more than 40 million tourists have visited Jammu and Kashmir. The unbridled. Now, what do we understand by this particular term, unbridled? So, unbridled means not controlled. So this uncontrolled influx of tourists in Jammu and Kashmir have caused a lot of problem. Has caused a lot of problem. The unbridled escalation in tourist activities propelled by the administration's endeavors to showcase the valley's newfound stability is causing an array of ecological disturbance. Additionally, inadequate waste management system are also worsening pollution levels in water bodies, further compounding the ecological degradation. So what now we cannot control tourists. We cannot control tourists that how many people will visit Jammu and Kashmir. So a lot of people are visiting Jammu and Kashmir, and as rightly said by Nirmala Sitharaman during her finance. Uh, During his budget speech that people will have more disposable income, so people are actually having more disposable incomes, that's why they are making a lot of travel now. अब आप जम्मू एंड कश्मीर इंडियंस बाय नेचर जो होते हैं उनको साफ सफाई रखने की आसपास में इतनी आदत नहीं होती है, एंड दिस इज अ वेरी ट्रू फैक्ट। अब इससे क्या हो रहा है कि बहुत सारे लोग जम्मू एंड कश्मीर विजिट कर रहे हैं और वो वहाँ पे पूरा कचरा फैला रहे हैं। जो वाटर बॉडीज हैं उन्हें भी वो पल्यूट कर रहे हैं, उन्हें भी वो गंदा कर रहे हैं। सो इन सब का जो क्यूमुलेटिव इफेक्ट है वो किसको फेस करना पड़ रहा है? पीपल हु आर लिविंग इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, बिकॉज दीज आर द टूरिस्ट। टूरिस्ट कितने दिनों के लिए जाते हैं? कम से कम 2 दिन, मैक्स टू मैक्स अ मंथ, 2 मंथ और 3 मंथ। दे आर नॉट द परमानेंट रेजिडेंट, राइट? सो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इफेक्ट, इसके जो इफेक्ट्स होंगे वो किसको फेस करने पड़ेंगे? पीपल हु आर लिविंग इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर। नाउ there have been a lot of important places in Jammu and Kashmir as well, like Mata Vaishno Devi temple, त्रिकुटा रेंजेस में जो माता वैष्णो देवी का टेम्पल है, वहाँ का भी जो इकोसिस्टम है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा फ्रेजाइल है। बट वहाँ पे भी क्या है, वहाँ पे भी बहुत ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट का इन्फ्लक्स बहुत ज़्यादा है। दो रीज़न है, एक तो ये जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में टेम्पल है, एंड द सेकेंड रीज़न इज इट इज़ अ टेम्पल, और ये बहुत मान्यता है इस टेम्पल की। अब देखिए जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में ये जो टूरिस्ट इन्फ्लक्स हो रहा है, इसका एक प्राइमरी रीज़न क्या है? आप लोगों ने इस बार देखा होगा, you guys must observe it that there were a lot of natural calamities in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, and in Kerala as well. That Wayanad landslide. The primary reason is very simple. The primary reason are very simple. That a lot of tourist influx is causing these kind of problems, because these tourists will change the ecological equilibrium of that particular area. So that's why this control is very much necessary. Now also one important thing that we have to understand, which basically this is giving a precedent, that how in past Jammu and Kashmir have witnessed a lot of natural calamities, where natural calamities like earthquakes, floods, landslide, avalanches, and this cloud busting. So a lot of natural calamities are happening in Jammu and Kashmir. So if we want to protect ourselves from the fury of the nature, if we want to protect the people of Jammu and Kashmir from the fury of the nature, then we have to take certain strict steps as soon as possible, because because in 2014, when there was this catastrophic uh, flood in Jammu and Kashmir, 4.5 million people were affected directly, and half a million people have to be, half 4.5 million people were affected in Kashmir, and half a million people were affected in Jammu. So in total, there were 5 million people from Jammu and Kashmir which were suffering because of these floods. So at the end of the day, it is everyone's responsibility to protect and control things. Now we will discuss a few more important few more important English words. Rest in this particular article, only philosophical things have been discussed which are important, but again, how we can protect our environment, how we can contribute more, how we can regulate this tourist influx. So these are the things which have been discussed in this particular article. Again, Jurisprudential aspect is very important, and also academically this article is very sound. So this article is important. टाइम मिले आप लोगों को तो प्लीज इस आर्टिकल को एक बार पूरे अच्छे तरीके से पढ़ लीजिएगा। ठीक है, अब हम लोग कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट इंग्लिश के वर्ड्स हैं जिन्हें हम डिस्कस करेंगे। रेजिमेन वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस, सो रेजिमेन मींस अ प्रिस्क्राइब्ड कोर्स ऑफ मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट। नाउ वी हैव few more words with us. So the next word is stalemate. Now, what do we understand by stalemate? This is a situation in which further action or progress, further action or progress by opposing members is इम्पॉसिबल। स्टेलमेट मीन्स ऑपोजिशन या ऑपोजिशन में जो पार्टीज हैं वो या मेंबर्स हैं वो इतना ज़्यादा प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं किसी चीज़ को लेकर के, इतना ज़्यादा उन लोगों का डिसएग्रीमेंट है कि वो लोग बेसिकली आपके बात से अग्री नहीं कर सकते। सो दिस इज़ अ काइंड ऑफ दिस इज़ अ काइंड ऑफ अ डेडलॉक सिचुएशन। डेडलॉक का मतलब क्या होता है? जब दोनों ही पार्टीज कोऑपरेट नहीं करती हैं किसी चीज़ को लेकर के तो उसे हम एक डेडलॉक सिचुएशन बोलते हैं। सो स्टेलमेट we have seen. Now the next important word, prudence. So what do we understand by prudence? So the simple meaning of prudence would be wisdom. Wisdom, a quality of being cautious, a quality of being cautious. Right. Now we have third important word, ire. Now what do we understand by ire? Ire means anger. Now another important word that we have discussed is unbridled. So unbridled means not controlled. So this is first, and the first word was regimen. We have already discussed a prescribed course of medical treatment. A prescribed course of medical treatment. So regimen, stalemate, prudence, unbridled, and ire. These are five important words that I found important for your examinations. So these five words are important. You can see the synonyms and antonyms of the same. Now we'll move to the next important article. The first article of the editorial is not, is not very much academically sound. It is good if it is good for the people who are at the very advanced stage of their studies. So this particular article is important for those people only. Now we have certain things to discuss in this particular article as well. Few important terms that we need to discuss. Now, what do we understand by the term nominal GDP? So nominal GDP means the total value of goods and services at current market price. So nominal GDP means total value of the goods and services produced within the territory of India at the current market price. So the essence of nominal GDP is current market price. So don't forget this, that the nominal GDP is actually the total value of goods and services produced within the territory of India at the current market price. So this is the meaning of nominal GDP. Now the main idea of the central idea of this whole article is basically that if government will spend more and more, if government is spending more and more, then there's one thing that we have to understand, that development comes at certain cost. Development comes at certain cost. At the end of the day, it is the people of India who will decide that what kind of cost they are willing to pay. At the end of the day, everybody has to pay certain cost for this development. But at the end of the day, we should have, the people of India should have this authority, that they should get the chance to decide. So we'll move into the this particular article. Government expenditure exceeding revenue by a high margin can lead to a difficult situation in the 1980s. सो बेसिकली अगर आपके खर्चे ज़्यादा होंगे आपकी आमदनी से, इफ़ योर एक्सपेंडिचर इज मोर देन योर income, then this is natural that a difficult situation will arise. In the 1980s, adding physical deficit accompanied by rising government debt led to a difficult balance of payment. So this was the a situation of 45 years before what is before a situation of or an instance of like a 1980s have been discussed as well, where a lot of physical deficit led to high government borrowings. गवर्नमेंट को बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा बोरो करना पड़ा था, और वही सारी चीज़ें जब क्यूमुलेट हुई थी, तब 1991 में गवर्नमेंट हैज़ टू ब्रॉट दिस एलपीजी पॉलिसी, लिबरलाइजेशन, प्राइवेटाइजेशन एंड ग्लोबलाइजेशन. So these are the things that are important for us to understand. Now, in this particular article, I'm saying again and again, you can give it a read. You can give it a read, but there are a lot of facts which are important for us to understand. So you can jot down those facts only. Uh, Take this one example. This is a very fine example. I guess you will understand that the 12th Finance Commission had argued that the investable surplus for the private corporate sector and the non-governmental private sector can be derived as the excess of household financial savings and the net inflow of foreign capital. So basically, to understand this article, so see, this particular article is written by the former governor of Reserve Bank of India, Mr. C. Rangarajan, and Mr. D. K. Srivastava, who is an honorary professor at Madras School of Economics. So to understand this particular article, you have to be aware, or you have to be familiar with a lot of terms of the economics. So that's why I'm saying that this particular article is relevant for the entire country. But again, if we talk academically, then this particular article is important for people who are pursuing their economics, some graduation or post graduation in economics, or people who are writing some mains based examination. So this particular article is important for those aspirants only. This particular article is not important for us at this particular juncture, because this particular article has a lot of professional and this subject or the domains term. So we don't have to give a lot of effort to this article. We'll directly skip this article. The reason is very simple. I have already told you. And the important thing which I found was the definition of nominal GDP at your level. So I've already explained the meaning of nominal GDP. Now today is Saturday, so we're moving into the this ground zero. So in this particular section of ground zero, so recently, on 24th of August 2024, a boy named Aryan Mishra was shot dead by some cow vigilant workers. जो गौ रक्षक दल के लोग होते हैं, उन्होंने 24th of March को एक आर्यन मिश्रा 20-year-old स्टूडेंट, उसको उन लोगों ने मार दिया था. Now the thing is that the people are claiming that that particular boy, Aryan Mishra was murdered brutally. It was a kind of a murder. Now, अब जो गाय का नाम लिया जा रहा है, जो गाय का बार बार आ रहा है कि इट वाज अ गौरक्षक दल के लोग थे जिन्होंने मर्डर किया. सो पीपल आर क्लेमिंग कि इस बच्चे आर्यन मिश्रा का मर्डर हुआ है. काऊ का जो इस पूरा सिस्टम आ रहा है, सीन में जो एक गाय आ रही है, इसका बेसिकली क्या किया जा रहा है, इसे एज अ कवर यूज किया जा रहा है, so that the main accused in this particular incident will get less punishment, or some light punishment. So this whole article academically, this particular article is not very important for us, but as we are living in a society, so these kind of events tells the exact picture of the society, that how a 20-year-old boy who was traveling along with his friends was killed, was brutally killed. He was shot twice by these cow vigilant workers of Haryana. Now this particular situation also becomes very sensitive because of simple reason. There are elections in Haryana. So now the ruling party, Bharatiya Janata Party, now these cow workers are somehow seeking protection from the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. That's why they are bringing this particular issue. That's why they are bringing this particular fact, that they were cow vigilant workers. गांव रक्षक दल के वो लोग थे. Police is also saying the similar thing. So these are the things, and the father of Mr. Aryan Mishra, Master Aryan Mishra, has given a very, a very sad statement. He was ashamed that his that ashamed of his act since he had killed his Hindu brother mistakenly. So this was one of the statement which is given by the father of this child, R.N. Mishra. And also there is a thing that there is a thing that you know, the people who have shot dead this particular boy R.N. Mishra, they were claiming that they have some information that there will be certain people in a duster, in a Renault duster, and those people who are inside that particular duster are basically these smugglers ऑफ काव. गाय को वो लोग स्मगल करते हैं, गाय का वो लोग मीट स्मगल करते हैं, वही लोग हैं उस कार में. उनके पास ये इन्फॉर्मेशन थी और इस इन्फॉर्मेशन के बेसिस पे उन्होंने 20 ईयर्स एक 20 साल एक लड़के को 20 साल के एक लड़के को मार दिया. ठीक है. सो अब एक ये चीज है. अब दूसरा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है जो अब हम क्वाड सबमिट के बारे में डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. So Quad summit is scheduled on September 21. This particular summit will take place in United States of America. Now, as we understand, as the term suggests, Quad means four. So Quad is a group of four countries: United States of America, Australia, Japan, and India. Now, in the year 2024, this particular summit will take place in United States of America. Now, in this particular summit, the President of United States of America, Mr. Joe Biden, the Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Fumio Kishida, and Australian Prime Minister, Mr. Anthony Albanese, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate on September 21. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to New York on 21st of September to attend UN Summit of the Future. And on the sidelines of this UN Summit of the Future, this Quad Summit will be organized. Now, as there is not much of clarity regarding the venue को लेकर के अभी बहुत ज़्यादा clarity नहीं है, but it is decided that the summit will take place in United States of America on September 21 on the sidelines of the UN Summit of the Future. Now, we are moving to the next important article. So, judicial appointment is not the prerogative of a single individual, said by the Supreme Court of India. So, the Apex Court on Friday have given one very strong message or the statement, and in that particular statement, that the Supreme Court or the Apex Court has clearly stated that the judicial appointments in the constitutional courts. Constitutional court means Supreme Court and High Court, is not the Chief Justice prerogative and must be consultative. So basically, the statement which was given by the Chief Justice of India, Mr. D.Y. Chandrachud, that it is not the single person. It is not a single person who decides कि कौन जज बनेगा और कौन जज नहीं बनेगा. Rather, it is a consultative process. Now, what do we understand by consultative process? That under this collegium system, Chief Justice of India along with four senior most judges जो डिसाइड करते हैं कि कौन कौन जस्टिसेस होंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हाई कोर्ट्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कोर्ट्स में, वो एक कंसल्टेटिव प्रोसेस होता है. उसमें ऐसा नहीं होता है कि चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया के पास किसी तरीके का कोई वीटो पावर होता है. सो बेसिकली दिस वाज द काइंड ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेटरी स्टेटमेंट जो चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया ने दिया है कि जो ओपिनियन होता है वो सब लोगों का बराबर से होता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि इट इज अ सिंगल मेंबर बॉडी. और कोलेजियम में बेसिकली क्या होता है, कोलेजियम में कि 4-5 जजेस रहते हैं और जो डिसाइड करते हैं कि इंडिया में जजेस वगैरह कौन कौन बनेंगे. सो 1993 में कोलेजियम सिस्टम आया था और जब से सिस्टम आया इट हैव बीन अ बेंचमार्क. और बेसिकली इसमें सबको यही लगता है, दिस इज अ नॉर्मल नोशन इन द सोसाइटी, कि जो जजेस का अपॉइंटमेंट होता है या जो उनको हम अपॉइंट करते हैं वो बेसिकली चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया ही पूरा डिसाइड करता है. बाकी जजेस का उसमें कोई से नहीं होता है. ऐसा नहीं है, सब लोगों का से होता है उसमें, जितने लोग कॉलेजियम में होते हैं. नाउ so when this particular bill was introduced in this West Bengal assembly, I was pretty sure that this is bound to happen. I was so sure that once this particular bill is passed from the West Bengal Legislative Assembly, it will be forwarded to the Governor of West Bengal, Mr. C.V. Ananda Bose, and he will refer the bill to the President of India for his assent. Now this was very much predictable, and not only me, every person who is a bit politically aware and who has who is aware with the recent affairs in West Bengal, उसको ये चीज़ का आइडिया होगा कि सीवी आनंदा वो उसको जब ये बिल प्रेजेंट किया जाएगा उनके असेंट के लिए, तो वो क्या करेंगे, इस बिल को ट्रांसफर कर देंगे प्रेसिडेंट को उसके असेंट के लिए. अब आप लोग एक चीज़ याद रखिएगा कि अंडर आर्टिकल 200 ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, आर्टिकल 200 ऑफ of the Indian Constitution empowers empowers the governor to give the assent. So to give the assent. आप एसेंट देने में क्या कर सकते हैं कि आप एसेंट दे सकते हैं नहीं दे सकते हैं रिकंसिडरेशन के लिए वापस भेज सकते हैं एंड लास्टली एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली गवर्नर कैन सेंड द बिल for the consideration of president. Now this particular bill, the Aparajita Women and Child West Bengal Criminal Laws Amendment Bill 2024. It has been passed by the West Bengal Assembly, Legislative Assembly. Now this particular bill has been transferred to the President of India for her consideration. And this thing has been done by the Governor of the West Bengal, Mr. C.V. Ananda Bose, and he has done this particular thing. Constitution allows him to do this particular thing. Constitution allows him to do this particular thing. Now there should be certain kind of test. The This is the responsibility of Supreme Court of India. Again, we are living in a democracy. We are allowed to say what we feel and what we observe. So at the end of the day, Supreme Court of India should lay down a certain test. Should lay down a certain test, because there are a lot of cases in Supreme Court जो 2024 में ही फाइल किए गए हैं. तमिलनाडु ने फाइल किया, केरला ने फाइल किया, वेस्ट बंगाल ने फाइल किया. सो जितने भी ये नॉन बीजेपी रूल्ड स्टेट हैं उन्होंने वेस्ट गवर्नर के अगेंस्ट बहुत सारा कंप्लेन किया. अभी इम्यूनिटी को लेकर के भी क्वेश्चंस उठ रहे थे. अंडर आर्टिकल 361 देयर इज दिस एब्सोल्यूट इम्यूनिटी टू प्रेसिडेंट एंड गवर्नर व्हेन इट कम्स टू क्रिमिनल केसेस. Under Article 366 Clause 2, there is absolute criminal immunity. And under Article 366 Clause 3, no arrest can be made while the person is holding the office. प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर दोनों पे एप्लीकेबल है. और सिविल प्रोसीडिंग्स आप सिर्फ इनिशिएट कर सकते हैं और उसके लिए भी आपको 2 महीने का प्रायर नोटिस देना होगा. So these are the things that this is the prerogative of Parliament, that Parliament should lay down a test, or the Supreme Court of India should lay down a test, that these are the certain conditions. If any particular bill fulfills these conditions, then only you can send that particular bill for the consideration of the President of India. If that particular bill, or if that particular bill is not fulfilling those conditions, then you cannot send the bill for the consideration, because at the end of the day you are sitting on a constitutional post. We expect certain some kind of responsibility from you. So you have to give the exact judge. You have if you have to give the exact reason that why you are sending the bill for the consideration of the President of India, because this is a bill which is this particular bill should become act as soon as possible. क्योंकि जितना जल्दी ये एक्ट बनेगा, क्रिमिनल लॉस का वैसे भी कोई रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट नहीं होता है. तो जितना जल्दी ये लॉ बन जाएगा, जितनी जल्दी ये बिल लॉ बन जाएगा, जितना जल्दी इसको एसेंट मिल जाएगा, उतना जल्दी अगर अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगर कोई ऐसा रेप का केस आता है तो उसको थोड़ा सा सीवियर पनिशमेंट मिल सकता है. दिस वॉज द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर बिल, और इस ऑब्जेक्टिव को थोड़े टाइम के लिए अब डिले करना पड़ेगा. सो दिस इज वन थिंग दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड. This former Olympian and wrestler of India, Vinesh Phogat, she joined Indian National Congress yesterday, and when Indian National Congress announced the first list of 32 candidates, the name of Vinesh Phogat was there. Now we are moving to the second important statement. This is again a political statement, but I just want to clearly depict this, that how political parties are fooling people living in this country. Some parties, one political party is saying that once we are elected, we will restore Article 370 and Article 35. And another political party is saying that Article 370 is a history now, will never come back. So at the end of the day, people have to decide whether they want Article 370 to be restored or not. So this is about Jammu and Kashmir. This was about Haryana, that Vinesh Phogat has joined Indian National Congress. Again, this is not important. They may ask a lot of questions about Vinesh Phogat, Court of Arbitration for Sports. They might ask you questions about wrestling, but they will not ask this particular question, that which political party was joined. Vinesh Phogat has joined which political party. So they won't ask this particular question. So you don't have to retain this particular information. Now, so this National Tiger Conservation Authority, NTCA. So recently, NTC have requested state government, 19 states to prioritize the removal of villagers who are residents in the core tiger zones. So basically, 19 स्टेट्स को अभी नेशनल टाइगर कंजर्वेशन अथॉरिटी ने एक लेटर लिखा है और उस लेटर में उन्होंने क्लियरली एक चीज बोली है कि जितने लोग, जितने विलेजर्स फॉरेस्ट के कोर एरियाज में रह रहे हैं या कोर टाइगर जोन्स में रह रहे हैं, उन लोगों के लिए एक दिस इज द टाइम जब आपको उन्हें वहां से अब शिफ्ट करना होगा। और इसके पीछे का मेन रीजन क्या है? बिकॉज देयर हैज बीन अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बिटवीन एनिमल्स एंड ह्यूमन बींग्स, यू आर लिविंग इन देयर टेरिटरी, सो थ्रेट तो हमेशा रहेगा ही लाइफ का। सो इसी चीज़ को लेकर के, इस चीज़ को एक्नॉलेज करते हुए नेशनल टाइगर कंजर्वेशन अथॉरिटी ने 19 स्टेट्स को एक लेटर लिखा है और उन्होंने बोला है कि इस चीज़ को प्रायोरिटाइज किया जाना चाहिए कि जो कोर टाइगर जोन्स में विलेजर्स रह रहे हैं उनको हम जल्दी से जल्दी हटा सकें। ठीक है, अब इसके बाद फैक्चुअली या हिस्टोरिकली सिर्फ एक ही चीज़ इंपॉर्टेंट है। प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर 1973 में लॉन्च किया गया था। अगर आप लोग कुछ और चीज़ें पढ़ना चाहते हैं तो आप देख सकते हैं इंटरनेशनल बिग कैट अलायंस, प्रोजेक्ट चीता, हम किस कंट्री से लेकर के आ रहे थे, वो सारी चीज़ें आप देख सकते हैं। ठीक है, सो वी आर मूविंग इनटू द बिजनेस सेक्शन ऑफ टुडेज न्यूज़पेपर। So this is the we are into the international section now. So the sentencing of Donald Trump, he was convicted of a felony. Recently, Mr. Donald Trump was convicted of a felony, as and his sentence was due on 18th of September. His sentence was due on 18th of September, means that उनकी सेंटेंस जो है, उनकी जो सज़ा है वो 18 सितंबर को सुनाई जानी थी, बट अब कोर्ट ने डिसाइड किया है कि उनके इलेक्शंस के बाद ही उन पे ये सज़ा जो है वो सुनाई जाएगी। इलेक्शंस के बीच में किसी भी तरीके का कोई भी पनिशमेंट ग्रांट नहीं किया जाएगा। वंस द इलेक्शंस आर ओवर, तब इनका जो सेंटेंस है, उनकी सेंटेंसिंग इलेक्शंस के बाद होगी। नाउ प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ यूक्रेन मिस्टर वोलोदिमिर जेलेंस्की, is continuously pressing United States of America that United States of America should provide more and more relief to Ukraine so that it can suppress and dig deeper inside Russia. Now, the recent financial aid which is demanded by Kyiv was $250 million. So again, this is happening in West. That entire West is against Russia, and a lot of people are losing their life. I don't understand what people of Ukraine think about Volodymyr Zelensky, that a lot of people are dying. And in a recent statement, Donald Trump has clearly stated that I want people should stop dying. जब उनसे पूछा गया क्वेश्चन रशिया और यूक्रेन के वॉर से रिलेटेड, तो उन्होंने ये बोला दैट आई एम नॉट टेकिंग एनी साइड, आई जस्ट वांट दैट पीपल शुड स्टॉप डाइंग। सो दिस वाज अ स्टेटमेंट एंड this is the expectation of everyone all around the world, that this war should stop as soon as possible. Now we are into the sports section. Now, at this Paris Paralympics, at the 2024 Paris Paralympics, India has basically now achieved a historic feat. We won 6 gold medal at the Paris Paralympics, and it is our highest tally. It is our highest medal tally, highest gold medal tally at any Paralympics. So till date, till now, we have won 6 gold medal. We have won 6 gold medal at the Paris Paralympics. So with this, we have completed the news analysis of 7th of September 2024. So I'm saying this thing again and again, that if you have any questions, then you have to punch in your questions in the comment sections as well. So if you have any questions, then do punch in those questions in the comment section as well. You have all the right to ask the questions. So you can ask the questions, you can also give some positive input. So these are the things which are important. With this, we'll wrap up today's session. Thank you so much for watching today's video analysis. कल मिलते हैं वापस एक फ्रेश सेशन के साथ में. Thank you so much.